Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Street, Bentong, Malaysia. This is the book that I'll be sharing from, Unleashing Buddhanature, Personal Accounts of Those Touched and Reformed through the Teachings of His Eminence the 25th Sam Rinpoche. So today I'll continue on with the sharing by Su Ming, and it will be on page 158. So this is a picture of Su Ming with Rinpoche. Witnessing Rinpoche going the extra mile to help others put my life into perspective. It struck me that all my life I had only been taking care of myself and my loved ones. At most, I would volunteer at the soup kitchen during my free time. Could I go the extra mile like my guru does? As I ruminated on this question, a job offer from Kechara came. There was a position to be filled at its marketing department. It was an attractive offer to me because I had really enjoyed volunteering for Kechara. As an organization, Kechara also had plenty of room for growth, and I was keen to lend my expertise in helping it expand. Yet, I was hesitant to leave my career at L'Oreal, not so much because of Kechara's lower pay, I was never a big spender, but because my boss had just given me a new portfolio that I have been striving for. Rinpoche's teachings showed me the path to take. He had once said that there would never be a perfect time to give ourselves to the Dharma, as we would always be engrossed in our own selfish pursuits. With that in mind, I decided that it was now or never. I tendered my resignation at L'Oreal in 2008 and leaped into a career with Kechara instead. In retrospect, I joined Dharma with a huge ego. Being an expert in executing marketing plans, I began to strategize to how to take Kechara to new heights. The biggest asset of Kechara, I reasoned, was our Lama. Hence, we should market Rinpoche. Whatever he does should be given publicity. To me, it's a brilliant, commercially sound idea. Hence, I volunteered to join Sam Ladrang, Rinpoche's residence and private office. When I marched into Ladrang with my big ideas and even bigger ego, I was ready to take on whatever this new career would throw at me. I was not prepared, however, to wash Rinpoche's car pot. That was my first assignment, along with two other friends who joined Kechara at the same time as I did. What am I doing here? I asked in my head over and over again as I scrubbed the floor. This was not what I signed up for. What a total waste of my talents. A month into the mundane task, I began to reason with myself. In all my years of knowing Rinpoche, he had never once belittled or harmed me. Why would I not trust that he had a good reason for asking me to wash the car pot? Most importantly, why was I so egoistical that being asked to do a menial chore was enough to insult me? I was supposed to be joining Kechara in service of others, not to strut around in authority. I told myself to shake off my pride and focus on doing the job my Lama had given me instead. At that exact moment, Rinpoche poked his head out and asked, "Do you guys want some taufu fa?" Then he declared our task of cleaning the carport officially over. It was then that I fully appreciated the reason behind my first assignment. Rinpoche was training me to see the bigger picture behind seemingly menial chores. Kindness and compassion requires humility. We have to be ready to do whatever it takes to help the needy, even tasks that seem lowlier or more disgusting than washing a car pot. They may need help going to the washroom or bathing or asking others for donations. Someone with a huge ego may see these tasks as beneath them, but this assistance means that the world to those who need it. All the assignments I got from Rinpoche had been to humble me so that I would never feel that I was too important to put others first. I joined an industry that is centered on helping people, and this is a round-the-clock responsibility. That was once when I had to drive to the hospital at 5 a.m. to help with the rituals for someone who had been electrocuted in the shower. I had also gotten calls about people trying to commit suicide or parents having passed away and so on. I cannot ask the callers to wait while I enjoy a nice dinner or a good night's sleep before I go over to help. I have to spring into action immediately. Of course, I am human too, and conditioned with the need for structure in my daily schedule. I was used to having a time for meals and a time for bed. Breaking this attachment to structure would not be easy, but Rinpoche never asks a child to run before he learns how to crawl. Instead, Rinpoche prepares us by putting us under training. One of the methods he used was impromptu assignments. I remember once my friend and I received a message from Rinpoche at 3 a.m. He said he had an exciting new project for us and asked us to meet him for breakfast in the morning. He was in Nepal. We rushed to pack and took the earliest flights we could find. The next thing we knew, we were having breakfast with Rinpoche with 1 week's worth of clothing in our suitcases. We ended up staying in Nepal for 5 months. It turned out that we had to oversee the construction of Kachara Lounge in the sacred town of Bodha, as well as a ladrang in Kathmandu. Little did we know that these buildings would soon become one of the biggest DIY projects we ever had to undertake, as many of the construction workers and electricians we hired did not show up for work regularly. My friends and I had to learn how to do the wiring, lay bricks, and so on. We also had to learn how to ride a motorcycle on bad roads. That experience really trained me to let go of my attachments to the comforts I thought I needed and just focus on doing the job at hand well. When I first arrived in Nepal, I was carrying a bottle of hand sanitizer everywhere I went. After a while, I could not be bothered anymore and was bustling around the construction site with sticky hands, dust-covered face, and messy hair. We were also sleeping in motels costing about 10 USD a night. And for that price, we had bed bugs thrown in free with the bed. I almost gave in to the urge to call my brother to ask him to sponsor my stay in the Grand Hyatt instead. But I reminded myself that my own guru was living in the same condition as we were, and I resolved to get over my squirmishness. After all that training to become detached from looking, acting, and living like the professional I was, Rinpoche gave me a new job to become the Marketing and Public Relations Director of Sam Ladrang. This meant I had to once again put on my makeup, do my nails, and look presentable so that I don't scare away anyone with my messy appearance as I once did in Nepal. While I had no trouble carrying the looks of a professional, I found that I was no longer obsessed with it. This was Rinpoche's intention. He was not telling me that comforts and grooming are bad. He was training me to be able to let go of it, should circumstances call for it. One would imagine that my transition from working in profit-driven industries to a compassion-driven career would be a difficult one. I, however, did not have much trouble with this change. I have always been goal-orientated, and I could clearly see the results of my efforts in Kachara. By helping Rinpoche's organization grow, I witnessed it providing solace and assistance to even more people. Rinpoche may not be able to afford to spoil me with fine dining privileges and first-class flights like my previous jobs could, but he cares for me in his own way. For example, he would occasionally pay for a massage for us. His compassion is consistent. He does not only care for the destitute, but for those working for him as well. I remember one of the first few conversations I had with Rinpoche when I first joined Kachara as a full-time staff. He asked me what I was really hoping to achieve by taking up a Dharma career. Happiness, I answered. Rinpoche looked at me and his laughter roared through the room. He then said, "My dear girl, do you know how to achieve happiness? Just serve others." I am now in my 8th year in Kachara, and I can safely say that my guru is right. Devoting my life to helping others may not give me a bank account balance or perks like a commercial career can, but I am rich with something no amount of money can buy: satisfaction. And so that's the end of the uh, sharing by Suming, and how she was trained by Rinpoche to let go of a lot of things that she expected in life, such as comfort, looking good, and having big goals, or ego. And she has done that, by being in Kachara and ultimately achieving something much more than what material items would have brought us, which is, as she said, satisfaction. So that's the end of her sharing, and I'll be moving on to another student's sharing in my next session. So now let us complete this with a completion dedication in Tibetan. Jangjo Senjo Rinpoche, Mage Panam Geishi, Gepanam Pame Payang, Gone Gondo Pewashu, Tony Joma Rinpoche, Mage Panam Geishi, Gepanam Pame Payang, Gone Gondo Pewashu, Daso Jini Sapa Gewadi, Tadandro Agona Kampadang, Jepa Jesu no Santrapai, Tamping Imporindu Sa Se Shu, Tamping sorry, Kewa Kunto Yanda Lamadan, Drame Choki Pala no Jojing, Sadam Langi Yote Razone, Doje Changi Ngopanga Tuso, Gewadi Yududa Lamasangyo Droyone, Droa Chika Malupa, De Sala Gopasho, Choki Kapusungkapa, Chosunam Papewala, Keki Samasi Wada, Tunki Malu Sangwasho, Dadam Sangyo Dosanda, Drewe Songi Latene, Gewalo Santrapai, Tampayo Riva, Gyushi, Ni Modeles and Dele, Ni Mingunyan Deleshi, Nisintato Delepel, Kunchusungi Jingilo, Kunchusungi Ngodros. So good to sungi tra si sho. Jesona makusen rapting ching nop katrini chochuke padang loss of tempe draw miss of sungi draw a musatato ni yushi. Gangri rawe ko wishing come them pendan dewa malu go in children say one tensing get so ye shapeshi de baru deng yushi. Home tomping otru malupa den de dala sel du so godan den palong chotnap ke paso shik shukten sell. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and do join me as I share in another student's accounts of how they are changed by Rinpoche's training. Thank you.